majestic, terrifying, and timeless. No matter where you look in history, you'll find stories of these legendary creatures. But the dragons of the East and West couldn't be more different. In one culture, they're protectors and symbols of good fortune. In another, they're the ultimate enemy, dangerous, chaotic, and destructive. But why does every culture seem to have its own version of the dragon, even though they never existed? Let's explore the origins of dragons and what they really mean in different parts of the world. Let's start with the dragons of the East and West. On the one hand, we have the Asian dragon. In places like China, Japan, and Korea, dragons are revered as symbols of wisdom, power, and good fortune. They're connected to nature, especially water, controlling rivers, rain, and the weather. In Chinese mythology, dragons are guardians, protectors of the people, and even bringers of prosperity. These aren't the terrifying monsters you might think of when you hear the word dragon. Now, contrast that with the Western dragon, the fire-breathing, winged beast you might picture when you think of medieval knights and castles. In Europe, dragons are dangerous, destructive, and often seen as evil creatures. They terrorize villages, hoard treasure, and are usually depicted as obstacles to be overcome by heroes. These dragons are made from the most terrifying parts of nature: sharp claws, leathery wings, and fire, all combined into one fearsome creature. So how did these two versions of dragons end up so different? And why do so many cultures have dragons in the first place? One popular theory is that fossils played a big role. Imagine living thousands of years ago and stumbling upon the bones of a giant creature, something like a T-Rex. You wouldn't know what a dinosaur was, but you'd have to explain what you found somehow. Some scholars, like Adrienne Mayer from Stanford University, suggest that many mythical creatures, including dragons, may have been inspired by ancient peoples finding these fossils. In fact, in China, fossilized dinosaur bones were sometimes referred to as dragon bones. These discoveries likely fed into the myths that were passed down for generations. Even the griffin, another mythical creature, is thought to have been inspired by the fossilized remains of the protoceratops. It's not hard to imagine ancient people interpreting these bones as evidence of giant, terrifying creatures that roamed the earth. But fossils aren't the whole story. There's also a strong case to be made for human instincts. Throughout history, humans have had to deal with dangerous predators, snakes, large birds of prey, and reptiles. These were real threats to survival, and over time, those fears likely morphed into stories about creatures that combined the most dangerous traits of these animals. Think about it. Many dragons are depicted with serpent-like bodies, wings, and sharp claws. These could easily be the product of ancient humans mixing together their fears of snakes, birds, and other predators. And while we no longer face those threats in our everyday lives, those fears have been passed down through myths and legends. Over time, dragons became more than just terrifying creatures. They became symbols. In Europe, dragons often represented chaos, destruction, or evil. In medieval stories, knights would battle dragons as a symbol of overcoming great challenges, whether those challenges were real, like war and famine, or more symbolic, like personal struggles. Slaying the dragon meant conquering chaos. But in Asia, dragons took on a different meaning. They were seen as powerful forces of nature, embodying wisdom, strength, and balance. The Chinese emperor was even considered the son of the dragon, linking the imperial family to this mighty symbol. For many people in Asia, dragons weren't something to be feared, but something to be respected, even revered. So, why does every culture seem to have its own dragon? It turns out, dragons are more than just mythical creatures. They're a reflection of our fears, our respect for nature, and our desire to explain the unknown. Whether they are spiritual protectors or terrifying monsters, dragons have always been a part of human storytelling. And even though they never existed, they remain some of the most enduring and powerful symbols in mythology. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this exploration of dragons, don't forget to subscribe and join me next time as we uncover more fascinating myths from around the world.